What's going on, good people? How we doing? Happy Sunday to everybody. How do you feel, Giants fans? Um, you can't say that you didn't see it coming. We can say a lot of things, but we cannot say that we did not see this coming. Before we get started, let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if the visual is good. Also starting off with a whelp. Well, there you have it. The New York Giants beat the Las Vegas Raiders 34-10. 34 points. 34 points. There's some highs and some lows to this. Obviously, the New York Giants win the Toilet Bowl or the Tank Bowl or the Mega Tank Bowl, whatever you want to call it. The New York Giants win and lose the number one pick overall. But according to Doug Analytics, the New York Giants still have a chance at the number one pick. All that has to happen is the New York Giants need to lose next week to the Cowboys, and the Raiders need to win. And I think the Raiders play the Chargers. But as we saw today, the Las Vegas Raiders know how to tank way better than the New York Giants know how to tank. That's a fact. Last year we had a chance to tank and we didn't do it. Ended up turning out good for us. This year, fan base wanted to tank, and the New York Giants didn't do it. And the funny thing is this too, man. It was just like last year's game against the Colts. Oh, it's the Chiefs. Thank you. It's the Chiefs. Actually, they might be able to beat the Chiefs, man. They might be able to beat the Chiefs. Thank you. I knew it was a division rival. Thank you for the correction. But this game was just like last year's game against the Colts when we needed to lose just to keep the number one pick, down to the point where you even had a second half kick return for a touchdown. Last year it was a Amir Smith-Marset, and this year it's Tay Banks. And here's my question with Tay Banks: Did Joe Shane draft a kick returner in the first round of the 2023 draft? Did Joe Shane do that? Did he draft a kick returner in the first round of the 2023 draft? I don't know, man. Tay Banks looks 10 times better as a kick returner than a cornerback. I don't know whether to be happy or sad about it. Maybe I can be both. But shout out to the 169 people already in the building. I understand why. We're going to get to a lot of things. We definitely got to talk about it. But let's just start off, man. Let's get to the talking points. Let's start off. The Giants lose the number. Actually, no. Let me wipe my feet before I step into my own house. I got to do a quick roll call for the people that got to the building early, man. OKC Donald was in the building. Shout out to my man OKC. He says only the Giants can kill your dreams to win all season, and in one game win a meaningless ass game to F off the number one pick. Sick of this dumb ass franchise. I understand where you're coming from. Psychogenics says the Raiders aren't even trying. They are tanking on purpose. Now, these are comments that were sent an hour and a half ago. Shout out to the people that come dumb early. That's a fact. Leo Lucas says, "Hey, Big Dash, what's up? Hope all is good, man." I don't know how I feel right now, man. Obviously, you want the number one pick, but obviously you want the team to know what a victory feels like since it's been so long. So I'm torn, but also I'm happy for the players. I'm upset for the fans. But I will say this though. Guess what people can do? They can shut up about Dart, and they can also shut up about Dable. Because for all week, Dart's regressing. Dart doesn't look the same under Kafka. What happens when they start letting him do a little bit of what Dart likes to do? He looks just the same. You don't need Dable. You didn't need Dable, and guess what? Thank you, Mike Kafka, for your services today, but again, you won't be here next year either. Luann in the building says Giants are going to win, but I wish Dart would start throwing touchdowns. Listen, he ran for 2 today. It is what it is. But again, the Giants still have a chance to get the number one overall pick next week if two things happen. If we lose to the Cowboys, and thanks to the correction by the chat, and if the Raiders beat the Chiefs, we still got a chance. Possible, but is it probable? I don't think so. Again, we saw the Raiders do a fantastic job of tanking today. They sat players. They played soft defense. Yeah, they just look bad. They gave it up on special teams. 2 interceptions for the defense, man. But I'm getting to my talking points. Let me slow down a little bit. Shout out to everybody, man. Let me go ahead and get through the roll call. RDSC Jr. says, Attaboy Jackson Dart F that number 1 pick and Mendoza. Well, we was never drafted Mendoza anyway. I think that was a bunch of BS to begin with. But guess what? People have to write new stories, I guess, now. Couch Coach Tommy, what's going on, Couch Coach Tommy? He says they were never drafting Mendoza just to put that away. I understand. Shout out to my man Xavier Anderson in the building. Says, shaking my head, well, let's get ready to trade back from the number 2 spot. Now we definitely better hope. That Dante Moore comes out. We need 2 quarterbacks to come out. Mendoza most likely declares anyway. I don't even think he has eligibility left, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But we definitely need Dante Moore to come out. That's the only other chance we got of trading back to get a haul if we can't sneak back into the number 1 spot next week. Vaporizer says, F this team. I understand where you're coming from. That dark friend in the building says, at least can we stop hearing about Mendoza? I think it's put to bed. Now, you'll still have some people that say, well, it was against the Raiders and the Raiders were tanking. You know, you're still going to get that, but I think a lot of people are going to fall off of that whole Mendoza bandwagon after this week. Dart looked like he was just fine. He even though he didn't have any touchdown passes, he did get 2 through the air, but he also threw for 200 plus. So I'm happy about that. People are upset about this, man. Vaporizer, again, this organization is pathetic. Listen, man. Why don't you blame the Raiders? Blame the Raiders. Did the Giants do anything spectacular today? Were there any spectacular plays? Nah, they just moved down the field. A little bit of run, a little bit of pass. They just moved. It wasn't nothing spectacular about today. It's just that the Raiders, be mad at the Raiders, Vaporizer. Be mad at the Raiders doing what a lot of people thought they were going to do anyway. American Cheese says we have the 2nd pick. We still good. That is true. I thought we were going to fall back a little bit further than that. Just imagine me, how happy I am that I know we still are in that top 2. Now, it's not the top, it's not the top spot. But guess what? The team that has the top spot is taking a quarterback anyway, man. So the team that you probably would have traded with is a team that got it right now. Shout out to my man Kelvin Davis in the building. Says, in here, Dash, let's go. Mr. Yellow Hat says 6'7". I guess. Here we go. What else we got? My man Big Moon in the building said, yo, Big Dash, what up, bro? I'm upset. I'm happy for the players. I did a bunch of mock drafts during the game because as soon as we got to 17, I was like, yeah, this game is over. We about to win this game. Let me get as many draft picks, mock drafts as I can get while we still got the number 1 pick overall on PFF. That's what I was doing. I think I did about 4 or 5 mock drafts while the game was going on. New York Giants fans says, Dash, are you happy with the win? Again, I'm happy for the players. I'm sad for the fans. But it is what it is. We will survive. Last year, we felt a certain way about, winning a game and not getting the first overall pick. But guess what? That first overall pick means the Giants would have drafted Cam Ward. You don't have Abdul Carter and you don't have Jackson Dart. I understand what it's about, but hey, it is what it is. D. Brown says, hallelujah. Can I get an amen W on the board? Some people are happy about it, man. Again, I like the way that both sides of the ball look, including special teams. And do we have let's get to the talking points, man. Let's first off, let's say this, man. Shout out to Wan'Dale Robinson for hitting 1,000 yards. Shout out to Wan'Dale Robinson for hitting 1,000 yards. Round of applause for him. Well deserved. Got 1,000 yards before Darius Slayton got 1,000 yards. And how much money we paying Darius Slayton? $36 million, right? Over 3 years. And Wan'Dale Robinson's the one that gets 1,000 yards over the guy making $12 million a year. So kudos to Wan'Dale Robinson for that. I'm happy for Wan'Dale Robinson, but also that means his bag is his bag. No hometown discount. Do the New York Giants sign Wan'Dale Robinson back? I don't know. We got some weeks to think about that. Can the New York Giants afford Wan'Dale Robinson? Who knows? After this game, he might be feeling a little bit different. What Fat Joe say? Yesterday's price is not today's price. You know, we thought it was going to be $13 million for Wan'Dale Robinson. That's what his team was talking about. But after today, after hitting 1,000 yards, is yesterday's price the same as today's price? Maybe not. Or tomorrow's price. I don't know. Thank you for letting me know the audio's good, the visual's good. I hope so, man. Again, shout out to the 236 people in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. It'll let the algorithm know that we are in the building, and the algorithm will let other Giants fans know that we're in the building as well. So shout out to everybody in here right now, man. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Shout out to Astro Glide with the $5 super chat. He says, we have to make this season worse than last season. So watch we beat the Cowboys next week. It will be the most bittersweet feeling you've ever had. That is the best way to explain it. Bittersweet. Of course, I want Jackson Dart in his first game against the Cowboys because again, it was Russell Wilson the first time he played the Cowboys. Of course, I want Jackson Dart to beat the Cowboys the first time he plays them. Of course, I do. And that would be bittersweet if we were to beat the Cowboys because that means we might drop even further back. I don't know how far back we can go, man. Shout out to Doug Analytics, though, man. I got to check with Doug, or maybe one of you guys know if we end up beating the Cowboys next week, which is a big if, right? How far do we drop back? I think no matter what, we still fall into the area of getting the wide receiver. Worst case scenario, we get the linebacker Sonny Styles. That's the worst thing that can happen. Is the New York Giants end up with I don't even want to curse him by saying generational, by getting a linebacker that everybody wants. We'll see what happens though. We'll see what happens. Again, shout out to everybody in the building already. But Big Brother in the building says, should we be proud of putting up those? Should we be proud of putting up those kind of points to a team who tanked on us? Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's the one thing about it, man. You saw what the Raiders were tanking before the game started. Obviously, they made moves, they sat people, but also the Giants sat Andrew Thomas. You sat John Michael Schmitz. You sat Tyler Nubin. You sat a bunch of people. Like we didn't have we had Raheem Lane out there. We had Rico Payton out there. Debo was out there. We had Banks out there. So no matter how we feel about Banks, we feel like Banks is trash anyway as far as a defensive back. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're down other players as well. Turbo Miller didn't even get a snap. I don't even think he got a jersey today. But we tried to. We sat people as well. It didn't work. All of a sudden, the defense want to get interceptions. You got Bobby Okereke, ain't had a pick in 2 years. He gets an interception. You got Dane Belton, Mr. Johnny on the spot. He gets an interception. Like, come on, man. And you knew it, man. And shame on everybody, right? Because you had some of you guys are coming in here hot. You had a whole half to try to digest this W, and that's crazy because normally you say you can digest the loss, but you had a whole half to digest. I knew we was winning as soon as we put up the 17 points. As soon as Dart started looking like the old Dart, I was like, oh yeah, this game is in the bag. I might as well start processing the loss of the number 1 overall pick. My man Giants guy says I'm done. You're not really done. You're just upset. You're not done. We're never done. No matter how bad the New York Giants are, we're never done. But it sounds good to say it because I say it sometimes too. Danny, shout out to my man Danny in the building. Says, I said that before. Banks should be kept on special teams. Maybe. That's an expensive kick returner, though. He makes I think his cap hit is $4 million next year. That'll be the last year of his contract. Might as well just leave him out there, see what he can do, and draft some cornerbacks. Maybe pick up some cornerbacks. Jessa said, yo, what's going on, Jessa? How we doing, man? What team should I pick next? Giants guy, man, you've been here before. How did you feel last year and you're still here? The Giants did the same thing to you last year, and you're still here. It sounds good, but you know we're not going anywhere, man. No matter what this team does, no matter how much pain they put us through, we're not going anywhere, man. Especially if you're a certain age, you're not going. You're just going to deal with it, man. For some of us, we too old to switch teams, man. Outside of loyalty, outside of Bleeding Blue, Big Blue Nation, Some of us are just too old to be trying to switch. That's a young man's deal. If you're in your teens, maybe your early 20s, you know, when you're young, adolescents, then you got the energy to switch teams. When you get older, like me, you just deal with it. You just deal with it, man. Kevin says no more Mendoza talk, please. I hope so. I hope it's done. Shout out to my man Mark Thompson in the building. Says, hey, Dash, hanging in Kentucky, listening. And shout out to my man Mark Thompson. Man, hopefully you enjoyed your family out there for the holiday. Merry Christmas to you. Hopefully you had a Merry Christmas. Shout out to you and the family, man, out there in Kentucky. What part of Kentucky? Some parts of Kentucky get cold, man. Unless that's all parts of Kentucky get cold. I'm not sure too much. Johnny says, Big Dash, we can't do anything right, big bro. I can't with this team, brother. Listen, man. You had a whole half to digest this W. A whole half. I was upset too, man. I was upset too. Then I just said, you know what? Forget it. It is what it is. It's the Giants doing the Giants thing. When we want the Giants to win, they lose. When we want them to lose, they win. It is what it is. It is what it is. My man Word says, I'll take a W any day. A lot of people feel the same way. I think the players feel good about this W. I think Dexter Lawrence feels good about this W. Brian Burns, I found myself rooting for Brian Burns. I saw the graphic go up. He was 16 and a half sacks for Brian Burns. I don't want a non-Giant beating Michael Strahan's record. I'm sitting here in my mind trying to calculate how many sacks can Brian Burns get over the next 2 games. This is, during the game. Now it's only 1 game left. How many sacks can he get to try to get there before Myles Garrett gets there? I'm hoping that Brian Burns can do that. Some type of miracle against Dak Prescott next week. He can get 6 sacks and be at 22 and a half, 2. Put him up there, right? Right? Hopefully. If you guys saw that the Steelers and Browns game, Myles Garrett was trying hard to get just 1 sack. He needed just 1, and he couldn't get it. As far as I know, he didn't get it. But now I feel you, where he says, I'll take the W any day, and then he doubled down and said, F that for real. My man, Life at Full Speed. Shout out to my man Jake Castile. He says, I'm just glad to see Dart play a better game. That's the facts at the end of the day. That's what it is at the end of the day. Dart needed a dub, man. Well, even more than a dub, Dart needed to play well. Dart needed an extra boost of confidence. The New York Giants, finally, ended the away loss. I forget what the record was, how many away games we lost in a row, but they finally get rid of that. Again, it's Las Vegas. I understand, I know, but it is what it is. Word says Dart had to prove himself this game, and he did. Shout out to Patrick Graham, man. Giants fans, we're very familiar with Patrick Graham. You don't miss him at all. I don't miss him at all, and we understand why. You had receivers running wide open. Wan'Dale Robinson on crossing routes wide open. Darius Slayton wide open. You know what I mean? Shout out to Daniel Bellinger, man. Daniel Bellinger, I don't know if you guys watched the game as close as I did. Daniel Bellinger as a blocker today was everywhere. From the H-back position, fullback position, tight end position. He was making blocks downfield. Shout out to Daniel Bellinger, man. Love Daniel Bellinger. I think he'll be a cheap re-sign at tight end, and you see that we need it. Theo Johnson's out again. Injury, or no, this is illness for Theo Johnson this time. I take it back. Shout out to Tony Owens in the building. Says, Big Dash, what's up, G fam? So where do we pick now? Right now, we're at 2. That's what I've been told. We're at 2 right now. So not a far drop. Better than I thought. Especially last night, I thought we were going to drop to possibly 4 or as far back as 5, depending on. But I think some other teams won too. So that kind of helped us. Simmer Singh in the building says the Giants would have tanked if the fans hadn't complained about Dart. Blame y'all self for shutting down the tank. They do the opposite of what the fans want, right? That's what it is. When we want them to win, they lose, and when we want them to lose, they win. That's a fact. Is it Erica Morrow or is it Eric Amaro? I don't know. You can correct me. He said, I'm glad I found this community, including your channel, Dash, makes losing and anticipation feel less lonely. I appreciate that. I absolutely appreciate that because, again, I want people to feel like it's home. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Luann says we ain't losing to the Cowboys. I'm gonna just calm that down right now. I'm gonna enjoy this win against the Raiders for the players. And I'm gonna mourn this W for the fans, for the certain portion of the fan base that is absolutely upset with this win. Lori, what's going on, Lori? How you doing? The Raiders handed them that game. It was embarrassingly obvious that they were tanking. Yeah, we saw it. They did a way better job of tanking than we ever could. Pete in the building. Pete, oh, is it Petey? Petey 7765 says, bro, Dash is only ridiculously stupid. People saying trade Dart, the dumbest on earth. Yeah. Yeah, but we had to entertain it. Why? Because so many people were saying it. I tried my best to ignore all of that, man. And then for like 10 days, it was every day, whether it was Colin Cowherd, the Get Up Show, just everybody. Was it the First Take? All those guys were saying the same thing. And then Mike Tannenbaum this week still saying, well, I don't know. I can't wait to see what people got to say tomorrow. I can't wait to see what people have to say. Sima Singh says, Raiders play like that all the time. Hey, it is what it is. Shout out to my man LRP in the building says, man, F the picks and draft selection. Get me a GM that can draft. Rams had like a total of 6 picks in the season, and they made them count. First pick, second pick, third pick, don't matter. Get good players. Get good coaching. I hear you 100%. Luann says Giants need to sign Wan'Dale. It's about the money at the end of the day. We'll see what happens. But I want to talk about this defense showing up today, man. Again, a lot of people made plays. Brian Burns, I just talked about him. Brian Burns. Bunch of sacks, right? Brian Burns with a bunch of sacks. Today, Dexter Lawrence getting pressure. Dexter Lawrence in the run game, they couldn't even run the ball that well. We shut down the run, we shut down the pass, shut down the quarterback. And then on offense, we pretty much did what we wanted to do outside of a couple series. Yeah, I think, how many times did we even punt this game? Not that many. Astro Glide with another $2 super chat says, if the Steelers want the second pick, what's your ransom? Steelers ain't trading up for no picks. I don't think the Steelers are trading up. If the Steelers didn't want to take Dart last year, because remember, the Steelers were picking before us. They chose Derek Harmon. They had their chance at drafting Dart. They had their chances at drafting Shador multiple times. They had a bunch of they settled on Will Howard. That's in the 5th round. So if I don't think the Steelers are packaging any deals. I think they pretty much do what they do. They got their standard over there. They're still winning. They're still competitive. Still no losing seasons. Now the AFC North is up for grabs next week. That's going to be a very, 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 very interesting game between the Steelers and the Ravens next week. And you know which way my house is leaning when it comes to that. We need them Steelers to go ahead and beat them Ravens next week. Luann says Wan'Dale needs to get paid. Is this Mike on podcast? Says, I don't see how your podcast after these games, Dash. I can't do it. I hate this team. Listen, I told you guys in the beginning. I said, and I'm like 10 minutes, at least 10 minutes behind in the chat. I had a whole half to digest this W. And then the way the Giants have been playing, the season's been over since October. So my whole mood with this team has been the same. Obviously, there's some losses that hit harder than others, and it's crazy that I'm talking the way that I'm talking because we just won. And a lot of the chat is feeling like we lost, and I understand what we did lose, but we still got a chance to get that number 1 pick. Shout out to my Man Cave in the building. Says salute Dash. He says booking tackles. The Raiders are laying down against the Chiefs too. They are not trying to win. They will shut Geno down next week. They are in full tank mode. I think we might have did that for them. He couldn't even finish this game. I think, and Geno might be done with the Raiders. That contract they gave him, ugly. Pete Carroll might not be there either. That's ugly. They're in an ugly situation. Tom Brady got to fix that over there, man. Tom Brady got to fix that. Greg T says, Dart trusts Wan'Dale as well. Can't take him away now. Listen, they don't care about taking players away. Look what they did this year to Dart. They want him to survive, man. Wan'Dale, it's not even about what Dart wants. It's about what the Giants can afford. Joe Schoen made the decision to give Darius Slayton all that money, and now you reap what you sow. We might not be able to re-sign Wandale. We might not be able to afford him. You're going to have a wide receiver room where the second and the third wide receiver make more than Malik Neighbors. Make that make sense. I understand it's a rookie contract. I understand. As far as cap hits go. Greg T says pause after saying I got over the fact that his name is Astroglide. I got over the fact. I told him about it. He didn't want to change it. I gotta respect it. That's that man's decision to make to have that name Astroglide. I will pause at this time though. Conservative guy says defense actually looked good today. They did, man. Again, Dane Belton, Johnny on the spot. Debo with some pass breakups. You saw Andrew Phillips all over the place with tackling. Another fantastic game from Abdul Carter. I put out a tweet, man, mid-game with Abdul Carter, man. I'm just sitting here like, just imagine if Abdul Carter. Imagine if Brian Daboll would have benched Abdul Carter like in September for all of the dumb stuff he was doing. You mean to tell me he probably would have took things more seriously then? And who knows where the New York Giants would have been if Abdul Carter was playing at the level that he's been playing the last 3 weeks. Because a lot of people told me when I was excited at Abdul Carter this game, saying, well, this against the Raiders. Well, no, it's not just this week. It's the previous 2 weeks as well. Leo Lucas says, we got our quarterback. Would it have been nice to get the haul of picks with the number 1 pick? Yeah, but perspective got to get the coaching right and fire the GM. Speaking of, I'm going to be jumping around my notes for today's game because I did see that earlier today. There were reports pretty much saying that, and I think Adam Schefter was one of the guys that he didn't say it, but on the bottom of the screen when he was on TV today, they were pretty much hinting that Joe Schoen is coming back. And obviously this is before the game, and I'm sitting here like this is just more clickbait. They're just trying to stir up things with the fan base. To me, I don't care. This win means nothing to me as far as what the decision should be with Joe Schoen. I don't care if we beat the Cowboys by 50 next week. Joe Schoen does not need to be the GM. Hopefully people understand that. Hopefully people are saying we're not trying to give him any more grace. He's had 4 seasons of grace. 4 seasons of grace. He doesn't deserve well, I can't say that, man, because I'm not a decision maker. I'll take that back. I'm not going to say that he doesn't deserve grace. Everybody deserves grace. But I don't think he deserves a chance to be the GM in 2026. Any longer. LRP says, I need us to beat the Cowgirls. I don't care. Luann says, all I want is a good linebacker or wide receiver. MKM says, I just want Joe Schoen fired. Yeah. Way to go. Man, shout out to Sully. Iron Lion says, we all want Schoen fired. That's a fact. Wesley Colton says, Sup Dash, if we get the first or second pick, how far would you drop down for the draft capital? If I can pick still in the top 10, I'm cool. As long as I'm getting something in 2027. If I'm getting the first round in 2027, I'll drop to 7, 8, 9 if I'm getting something in 2027. If I'm not getting anything in 2027, I'm gonna need to be a little bit higher than that, or I'm gonna need 2 first rounds in this pick. I mean, in this year's draft, or I should say in 2026 drafts. It just depends. It depends on how far back, but I'm willing to drop depending on the package. Pause. Carter's been playing better. That's a fact. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Luann says Carter is playing better since Kayvon is out. Maybe trade Kayvon. That's not a wild suggestion. Again, a couple weeks ago, if you would have told me, let's trade Kayvon, I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. Carter ain't looking like he's supposed to be looking. Now that we've seen Carter flash finally, maybe you might think about trading Kayvon. Also, that's a heavy contract now. Well, option. That's a heavy 5-year option for Kayvon. That's all guaranteed money too, man. If Abdul Carter looks like this against Dallas, you might have to think about it, especially if you go into the 2026 draft and you're not getting any deals done. Imagine if the Giants can't trade back. Then you're looking at our picks right now. We got a first rounder, a second rounder. We don't have a third. And the next time we pick again won't be until like the 100s. Like, we got to do something about that, man. We got to do something about that. Lorenzo, what's going on, Lorenzo? He says, this game is for the dart haters. Put some respect on his name. I love it. I love it. I love it. Couch Coach Tommy says, this offseason ain't about rookie players. It's about management, coaching staff. We got the bullets. We need the sniper. That's a great analogy. I like that. We do need a sniper. Like I said, we need somebody to drive this car, man. We need somebody, steering this thing in the right direction. Right direction. Stacy says they should play like this every game. I think is what he's going to say. Like it's week 7. They should play every game like it's week 17. Yeah, for some reason I don't know, man. Those week 17 games is different. They hit different. We got an Eagles fan in the building. Said, "Fly Eagles, fly." Did they end up winning? Did the Eagles win? I'm assuming they did. Going off of what my man is saying in the comment section. Isaac Moore says, what are we doing? Winning with the sad face. Try who at safety? Who you talking about? Try who at safety? Oh, you talking about Phillips? Try Phillips at safety. He's still a little bit undersized, man. He's tough as hell, but he's still a little bit undersized. He said it's PMO, how hard the Raiders tanked. Yeah, it's ugly. It's ugly. Simma Singh says Buffalo is supposed to be a bad cold weather team, yet they get their kicked all the time at home in bad weather. Listen, man, this Super Bowl is wide open. Like I don't see a clear favorite. That means the playoffs are going to be very entertaining for the teams that make it to the playoffs. This playoff is going to be very entertaining, especially on the AFC side, because last night Houston made it, clinched the playoff berth. And if I'm a team in the AFC, I'm not looking forward to playing Houston at all. Houston can mess around and go to the Super Bowl. Just think about that. I remember week 2, those guys was 0-2, just like us. A lot of teams that were at the bottom of the bottoms with us ended up having some pretty good seasons and turning things around. Just not us, though. Just not us. Thanks again. You can't thank me for Saquon. He left. He went there. We didn't give him to you. He chose you guys. Saquon must have had a good game today. Lorenzo says, Dash, I'm 46. I'll never. He says, I'll never. My New York Giants, big blue nation. Yeah, listen, we're too old to be doing that. We can't be jumping teams. Like, what we doing? That's for the kids. That's what the kids do. When you get a certain age, you just grit and bear it because it is what it is. Or if you're just old school, you just grit and bear it. You take the good with the bad with the good. That way when the New York Giants are back at the top, hopefully by 2029 to keep the streak alive, it'll feel even better. Tyrone Hall says, I'm heartbroken. Deja vu. Lost some extra picks. Cowboys are going to beat the brakes off us. If you want that first overall pick, you still got a chance if the Cowboys, in fact, do that to the New York Giants next week. It's just, what the Chiefs do versus the Raiders. The Chiefs are down to their third string quarterback, and they still won. Third string quarterback. Who was that they played on Christmas? I can't remember who the Chiefs played on Christmas now. I was too busy watching Stranger Things anyway. I didn't care about that Chiefs game. It was another battle of the bums, being that the quarterbacks were out. I was too busy watching Stranger Things, and I'm glad I watched Stranger Things over that game. Darnell says, Big Dash, I think we trade that. I think we still got the opportunity to trade it. It just depends on if Dante Moore comes out. If Dante Moore declares for the draft and the New York Giants stay at pick 2, we still got a chance to trade back for picks. We still got a chance to trade back. If so we better hope that Dante Moore, somebody else said it, we better hope that Dante Moore lights up the college football playoff. He plays Texas Tech this week, and he declares, because he's still, was he a redshirt sophomore, I think? Dante Moore might be a redshirt sophomore, actually. But if he declares, he's right there with Mendoza, to be honest. And then we're still in the runnings because even if the Raiders are picking one and they take Mendoza or they take Dante Moore, somebody's still going to be looking for that second best quarterback. So let's just hope and pray that Dante Moore plays well and declares. Ryan says, can't win right, can't lose right. That's a fact. We believe blue. Can't win right, can't lose right. They don't do nothing that we want them to do. Daniel says, Big Dash, if Giants beat Cowboys, they could fall to 6. Thank you for that. And if we fall all the way to 6, you just take Jordan Tyson and be about your business. That's it. Or you take Cornell Tate, or you take Caleb Downs. I don't want to take Arvell Reese. That's probably the only person that I don't want to take that's a top prospect. But yeah, take Mekhi Lemon possibly if you fall all the way to 6, depending on where the wide receivers fall. I can't wait to do the wide receiver episode when I talk about these prospects. Is it LV? LV Shore. LV Shore says, "Oh my God, we really went out there and won today." Thunder says, "I hate Strahan. Sorry, a lot of people don't like Strahan since he was waving at the Eagles flag for Saquon. I didn't like it at all either. And I'm still giving him the side eye for the same reason. I understand. Now I can't say I hate him because he still won won a Super Bowl for the Giants, man. I remember yelling stomped out or stomp you out. I remember balling back in 2007. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I'll give him the side eye though. I definitely give him the side eye. A Ransom says, why we need the number 1 pick? That's a great question, and I'm pretty sure the people are answering in the chat. Lori says, yo, Dash from Brooklyn. I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm from Jersey. I'm not from Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn, though. Shout out to New York. Shout out to the 718. Lorenzo said, Dart look good. Pause. You ain't got to pause that. We understand. Yeah, the Colts game all over again. Word with the $1.99 super chat says, glad we got the dub. See, Word is standing on business right now. He already said it in the chat, then he doubled down with a super chat. He is happy about this W. He said, forget everybody that's crying over the victory and crying over losing the number 1 pick. He said, I'm glad we got that dub. F those tears. Oh, man. Walker Wash, what's going on? So what up, Dash? I'd rather see Dart win than us lose. I agree. Joel says, Colin Cowherd has the worst take. Don't even know why he has a show. You know what's crazy, man? When I first moved to Vegas, when I lived in Vegas back in 2004, this is before Colin Cowherd was like national. He had a local show. And I used to listen to Colin Cowherd. He was good on the radio. Before he even had a television show, Colin Cowherd was good. He got the TV show. I was happy for him. And then you see what happens. Now it's all about being relevant, and it's all about the clicks. It's all about the views. Because when he was out there starving on the radio, like a lot of people were starving on the radio, he was damn good. Now he's just a guy trying to get shock value, man. And I say that respectfully at the end of the day. Because Colin Cowherd is doing something that a lot of people would love to do, and that's get paid to talk sports. Boy, if I can get paid to talk sports. But sometimes, man, it might not be for you, especially if you're out here lying to the people for views. It is what it is. LRP says Tannenbaum is Homer Simpson. 3 3 strands of hair. Yeah, I can't unsee it now. I can't unsee it now. Tannenbaum is Homer Simpson. 3 strands across his head. That is hilarious. I can't unsee it now. Now, Tannenbaum is Homer Simpson. Absolutely. Life at full speed. Appreciate the $9.99 super chat. Says, Dash, all things considered, if we did have the number 1 pick, why wouldn't the Raiders or Jets just call our bluff instead of giving up capital? They know we don't need a quarterback, just curious. I said the same exact. I also said that last night. I said the same. That's one of the points I tried to make now. The chances of that happening is super slim. These teams are not patient enough to allow teams or to call teams bluffs. They're not patient enough. So somebody's absolutely going to try to jump in front of somebody. But I had that same point. I said, if the New York Giants, imagine the New York Giants get stuck at 1. You got to stick and pick. That would be the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. Now, just think about this. And the funny thing about this, too, is this. Before we had the number 1 overall pick, and we were at number 2, and I'm talking about the mock draft simulator, PFF, I was getting better deals for the number 2 pick than I did for the number 1 pick. Again, this is PFF. This is the land of make-believe. But to your point, if the Giants stuck there, especially if the Raiders would have been stuck at 2 and we're stuck at 1, the Raiders could absolutely call our bluff, especially if 2 quarterbacks. Like last night I was saying to you guys last night, for the people that was tuned in to Late Night Giants Talk, I was saying that last night when we still had the number 1 pick, I was like, we better hope that Dante Moore stays in college, because if Mendoza is the only quarterback coming out, then that drives the price up. And then here we are 24 hours later, well, almost 24 hours later. And in order for the Giants to get a package deal for the second overall pick, we got to hope that Dante Moore comes out. So what a difference a day makes. Appreciate the chat. Appreciate the support. Thunder says, I love the little hobbit. He's a beast, talking about Wan'Dale Robinson. Lorenzo says, Dash, I wanted us to lose, but this win feels good. Pause. You ain't got to pause that. You good with that. That's good. You all right with that. And then give me just a quick moment. I do want to get caught up because I'm super duper behind. Bill's going for 2. Oh, so the game ain't over? The game's not over? Okay, hold on. Snake Quan. Oh no. Let's fire. Fear says, oh no, let's just fire Shane. I hear you. Hold on. Mike Fonta says, hey, Big Dad, did you like Jameis getting mad? I thought that was cool, man. Him and what's his name? Jamal Adams. Him and Jamal Adams getting into it on the sideline. I thought it was dope. Shout out to Jameis Winston. Everybody sees Jameis Winston as this happy-go-lucky, always smiling, singing, always the sun is always shining on Jameis Winston. We saw him today, like, hey, that's my teammate, sticking up for his teammate, helmet off and everything. About that life. Shout out to Jameis Winston. I loved it. I love to see that type of energy, that type of fight. Absolutely. I wish that we can lock down Jameis Winston to be Jackson Dart's backup until Jameis Winston wants to retire. I would love that. LRP said, didn't Dante say he was returning? I tried to Google it, man. He didn't say anything officially yet, is what I saw. I know the kid from South Carolina said he was going back. Lenore Sellers. I know he said he was going back. Nick Harbor from South Carolina is going back. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I didn't see anything about Dante Moore. But if you got the Carfax, let me know. Caleb Downs, number 2. He's in play for sure. He's in play. We want wins. Dart was happy. I can't wait to go back and see the post game pressers from these guys. The energy is gonna be different. You know who's probably upset right about now? Shout out to my man Pat Leonard, man. Pat Leonard might be a little bit upset about this W. Happy for Dart though, because he's a big Dart fan, but he wants Joe Shane out of here, and anything that can kind of waver ownership's decision for keeping Shane versus firing him, Pat Leonard ain't having that for sure. Ain't having that. Corey says, is there any way we can end up second? Right now, we should have the second overall pick right now. So if everything stays the same, we should have it. I'm going to check. Let me check the Tankathon real quick while you guys are on here. Let's check it real time. Tankathon. Let's see what Tankathon got to say. Yeah, right now the Giants are second. Strength of schedule, we still got the strength of schedule over the Jets, the Tennessee Titans, the Arizona Cardinals. Those are the other 3-win teams. So right now it's us, the Jets, Tennessee, and Arizona that have 3 wins. But we have the strength of schedule over those guys. So right now the New York Giants are sitting at 2, and we'll be sitting at 2 if nothing else changes. If nothing else changes, of course, if we beat the Cowboys and everybody else loses, then it is what it is. We can fall to 6, like my man was saying. Ryan says, Edison, New Jersey, my hometown. Unfortunately or fortunately, the past 26 years I've lived in Arlington, Texas. F them girls, go Giants. Nah, man. Shout out to Edison, man. When I was in high school, we played in a summer league at Edison. Was it JP Stevens? If I'm not mistaken, JP Stevens, right? That's where I think it's JP Stevens. Yeah, JP Stevens. Seth Dawkins says, I feel like they're going to let Jermaine and Wandell walk. I'm glad you brought up Jermaine Illuminor, man. Ever since Jermaine Illuminor made that comment saying that he's a top right tackle in the league and he should be paid like a top right tackle in the league, he done had some mishaps, man. Today he had a case of the false starts. Yeah, man, you got to get that in, top right tackles in the league. Don't make those type of back-to-back mistakes. But respect to Jermaine Illuminor. I think we should bring him back. That price tag might be a little bit high, though. So we'll see what happens. But here's my thing, too, man. I don't think both of those guys walk. You got to bring one of those guys back. You got enough money to bring one of those guys back. You can move some things around to get one of those things back. I got an even better question for you guys. I got to go first. It's crazy, too. I've been talking for 40-something minutes, and I finally got a question for you guys. Bobby Okereke, right? Bobby O, right? Bobby O. Big play today. Actually, outside of the interception, he played very well today. Pass coverage against the run. He was all around the field, man, all over the place. Again, he has a cap hit of $14 million. You save $9 million if you cut him. How we feeling about Bobby O today? Are we softening up a little bit, pause, on how we feel about Bobby O and trying to get that money back for him? Or are we looking at Bobby O a little bit different today? Does one game change your mind about Bobby O right now? I'm going to say no. But I'm curious to see what you guys got to say about that. Tyrone says, more ain't no fool staying in school for what? Who? He might be scared of the Jets. He might be scared of going to the Raiders. He might pull a whole what did Herbert do? He might pull a Herbert and go back to school. I want to play with my brother. It actually worked out for Herbert, didn't it? Because Herbert, the way Gettleman felt about Herbert most likely would have been a Giant that year. Herbert most likely is a Giant that year if Gettleman got his way. It is what it is, though. All right, Priest says, Wakeman listen, y'all still talking about Wakeman? He was at Texas A&M. Then he laid the dud. He went to Houston. He had a better year against Houston with Houston. I'll say that. And I know you in Texas, so you know better than me. Actually, yeah, you in Houston, right? Anyway. So I know you know about that guy. Did he made you change your mind about him, huh? Because he had some, was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, he was building himself a name at Texas A&M. And then he kind of fell off the map and then transferred. It is what it is. It is what it is. Simeon says, Pat and I are on the same wavelength. Yeah, we got to get Joe Schoen up out of there. Lorenzo says, I want Joe gone. We got to get him out of there. We got to get him out of there. Air Force Ups, what do you disagree with? Let me know. I missed it. Let me see if I can find another comment. Air Force. If not, throw the comment. What part do you disagree with? Let me know. I always want to hear people's opinion, especially if it's different from mine. I respect all opinions. Let me know what you disagree with. Devin says, hate this team for real. Devin, man, you had over an hour to try to handle and process this W, man. Sean Clowney said, yes, that's Edison. Yeah, JP Stevens. That's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. P-Way in the house. Piscataway? In the house, Piscataway. Shout out to Piscataway. The offensive lineman. Yeah. Yep. Let Jermaine leave. It's funny, right? It was all good just a week ago, right? With Jermaine. Well, I should say it was all good 3 weeks ago with Jermaine. It was more about, man, we got to pay this guy $18 to $20 million. Now it's like, do I really want to pay him $18 to $20 million? It's crazy how things change, right? On another note, shout out to Marcus Bowe. Shout out to Marcus Bowe. Shout out to Austin Schlottman. Because even though we had a backup left tackle and a backup center, again, it was against a tanking Raiders. They played very well. And I like the temperament of Marcus Bowe a lot. We finally got a offensive lineman that got that nasty to him. Pause. Y'all know what I mean. Got the mean streak. I like that. To the point where you got defensive linemen getting out of character and causing unsportsmanlike penalties. And guess what? You're getting 15 yards on top of that. For you being the agitator. I like Marcus Bowe. I've been like Marcus Bowe too. Sean says Bobby O showed up. Nah, that's a fact. He did. Simeon says cut him. Couch coach says cut him. Bobby gotta go. Ron B says cut. We gotta save the money, man. Now let me ask you this question. If he was willing to restructure his contract or to tear his contract up and get a friendlier deal for the New York Giants, because that is possible. Would you want to keep him then? Is it about the money or is it about Bobby Okereke? It might be both. For me, it was both. I wasn't seeing the Bobby Okereke that I saw in 2023, and also it's way too much money. And the cap situation that we're in is hell right now. But it is what it is. J.C. Smith says McFadden is gone. That's another guy that might walk. And McFadden was somebody that I wanted to extend before the season started. Then you figure he got hurt in like the first series of the game, of the first game. And we ain't seen him since. And this was a contract year. He was supposed to put his season together so he can get the bag. Now I don't think McFadden's getting the bag. He might be a cheap guy that you can get back now because he wasn't able to play this year. Even though people are talking about him possibly, coming back and playing, for this final week against the Cowboys, I don't think he should do it. What's the point? Tyrone says if Bobby takes a pay cut. Nah, Jerry says still cut Bobby. He said, oh, that's a great point, Sean. That's a great point. He says, depends on if we draft the linebacker from Ohio State. I got a question for you, though, because, again, there's no guarantee that McFadden is going to be here. And then after Bobby Okereke, you got Muasau. And we already know how we feel about Muasau. He is a depth special teams, player. I think he's more of a liability on the defensive side than, an asset. So if we were to land a Sonny Styles, I will put him right next to Bobby Okereke if Bobby Okereke is willing to restructure his deal. But I can't do that if Bobby is still carrying a cap hit of $14 million. Then absolutely not. Absolutely not. Shout out to my man Tyrone Hall. $2 super chat says Marcus Bowe got some fight in him. Now that's a fact. We knew that too. Coming out of college, we knew that he had a nasty streak. And we're seeing that. And shout out to him today. They did a pretty good job protecting Dart today. So shout out to him. My man Joe Ferris is in the building. Says the Giants is the Giants. That's short and to the point, but also because I've known you so long, Joe, I know exactly what you mean when you say that. The Giants is the Giants. They gonna do giant things. And sometimes not in a good way. But they definitely gonna be the Giants. They can't change. Jarius, you're cheating. You're looking at the answers of the test. What about Sauls, Dash? Do we have a kicker? The New York Giants might have found a kicker. Now next week he'll be at MetLife kicking in the win. So we'll see what happens there. But I like him. First lefty kicker. They said since what? I forget how. Janikowski, I think that's what they said. That seems like a long ass time though. I would assume there were just some lefty kickers out there, but they said since Janikowski, and if you remember Sebastian Janikowski, then you a real one. Good Lord. Sebastian Janikowski. I remember Janikowski at Florida State before he even got to the Raiders. That's crazy because I was still in high school at that time. Isaac Moore says Bobby O is expendable. Lorenzo Pipes says, Dash, do we trade Kayvon? If we can't get a third-round pick somewhere somehow, then he might be an option for a trade. Might be. But then you got to turn around and replace him. That's the other thing. We got so many holes. We lack so much depth on his team that, that's a even bigger decision because of what Joe Schoen has done to this roster. Need to move Neil Hyatt and Bank. Well, Neil is already gone. Neil, yeah, Neil is a free agent already. You know what I mean? As soon as they put him on the IR, his career as a Giant was over. Hyatt, I would take whatever I can get for him right now. I would take a Katz pastrami sandwich. I'll take a Cooper's. I'll take a Cooper's pastrami sandwich. It's been so long since I had Cooper's. Shout out to Jersey for the people that know Cooper's. I'll take a Cooper's pastrami sandwich for Jalin Hyatt right now. For sure. I said Katz first because everybody knows Katz. If you're on, that's known nationwide. Katz was in movies, but people don't. If you're from Jersey, North Jersey, you know about Cooper's. I'll take a Cooper's pastrami sandwich right now. Actually, let me ask you guys, man, for the people that live in the Jersey area, if you live in Newark or wherever, is Cooper's still good? Is the quality still the same? Let me know. It's been that long. I got game. AJ says, this win cost the Giants at least 2 first-round picks. Depending on if it was the Jets that were their trade partner or the Raiders that were their trade partner is what I'm assuming is what you mean. A lot of people, man, if you watch, what's it, the NFL Stock Exchange, if you watch, what's the guy's name? Todd McShay. All of these channels, man, when they do their mock drafts, they have been trading the Giants pick away, right? And they normally don't trade the pick even in the mock drafts, but they have been doing it. And they've been talking about what the Giants could actually get, man. And the funny thing is when you're the Raiders at the time when we're still picking at 1 and you're at the Jets and you're at pick 4 and you're at pick 2, they were saying that it wasn't a foregone conclusion that you were going to get the first, 2 picks in 2024. I'm sorry, in 2026 for for the number 1 overall pick. They said the package would be more of a 1 this year, the pick swap this year, and then the first in 2027, and then something else, probably a day 2 pick, either in this draft or the next draft or both. I saw a lot of people kind of stray away from the, getting the 4th and the 18th from the Jets or the 2 and the 20-something from the Raiders. I saw a lot of people starting to, stray away from that, and it kind of makes sense. But to your point, yeah, for a lot of us, we feel like, yeah, we had the number 1 pick, and if we trade back with the Jets, who else has 2 first-round picks? It's the Rams, it's the Jets, it's the Raiders. Anybody else got 2 first-round picks? I think that might be it for the first-round picks, teams with multiple first-rounders. But yeah, if you're trading back with those guys, maybe you can get that. But a lot of people were saying that probably not. Boat Josh says right tackle not worth the money. I can see that, man. That's a lot of money. $18, $20 million, especially if you feel like Marcus Bowe can step right in and play right tackle for the cheap. It's a lot of things. Like whoever, I'm hoping, I'm praying for a new GM. Obviously, we're already going to get a head coach. We know that we're getting a new coaching staff, but hopefully we get a new GM as well. It's going to be some big decisions in 2026. Do you say, you know what, Jermaine Illuminor, I got $14-15 million for you, but I'm not going up to 20? Do you take that chance, let him walk, and then, you know what, I got insurance with Marcus Bowe, so I'm fine. We can move on. Marcus Bowe has showed me that he can be, the right tackle of the future. But then also after that, you're trying to find depth after Marcus Bowe, because Marcus Bowe right now is the depth for the New York Giants. Seth says just draft right tackle. I'm saying you got a right tackle right now, Marcus Bowe. We definitely need to get some interior line help though, for sure. Or if you can go and draft, because there's a lot of tackles, prospects right now that are projected to be guards, but they give you that versatility. Maybe you get one of those guys. You got Parker from Duke, who's a right tackle. You got Green from who was that, from Missouri. You know, he can give you he's projected as a guard, but he can also give you tackle experience. You got what's his name? Is it Dunker? Jennings? You got Jennings at Iowa, who gives you some tackle guard, versatility. It is what it is. Shout out to Sarah in the building, said congrats on winning the Tank Bowl. Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, you know what I appreciate even more? If you send Brian Flores my way. Sarah, if you can make that happen, if you can get on the line with your connections in Minnesota and say, hey, we're going to get Brian Flores to the Giants to be the next head coach, I would appreciate that, Sarah. I appreciate that. Lorenzo says, I would cut Bobby O, just restructure his contract. Oh, I wouldn't cut Bobby O, just restructure his contract. It's still an option, man. I just know for a fact we can't have him playing with a $14 million cap hit. That's impossible to me. I wouldn't be able to justify that. Just watching my notifications, The Athletic came across my screen. It says, Giants cruise past Raiders. New York earned its first win since October. I could have did without that. Shout out to Tyrone Hall with $2 super chat, says, I'm about cats. I feel you. Bush Kid with the $4.99 super chat says, Dash, now we will suck next season. We needed to lose. See, that's not necessarily true. We could have had the first overall pick and still sucked next season. We could have traded back and still sucked next season. I think it's more about the coaching than the picks. Obviously, you want the picks because you want more talent on the team. But, man, it is what it is. Guess what? We got to deal with it now. What Dr. Strange say, man, we in the end game now, right? We in the end game. We in it now. We got to figure out how we're going to fight our way out of it. It is what it is. We still got a chance, though, Bush. We still got a chance. Shout out to Doug Analytics. Ransom said, make it make sense. Cats all day. Now, listen. Well, wait a minute. I wasn't saying cats over Coopers. I wasn't saying Coopers over cats. I wasn't saying that. I was just trying to make an example of I would take almost anything you want to give me for Jalen Hyatt. 7th round pick, I'll take it. I'll take the Mr. Irrelevant pick. I'll take it right now. I'll take it. E-Bands says Coopers ain't the same, and I'll still take it. Oh, man, Coopers ain't the same. It ain't the same. Ron B said I had Coopers last Tuesday. E-Band says no, Coopers fell off, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to Jersey in the building. Yes, Coopers is still good. Uh-oh. What is it? Is it good or it's not good? Let me know. Listen, I ain't had Coopers in over 20 years, man. It is what it is. I ain't had Coopers in over 20 years. That's how far back I'm talking about Coopers. I'm talking about Coopers was Coopers. At least I know Coopers was Coopers 20 years ago. That's how long it's been. And for Cooper to still be around for, since I've been gone, they got to still be doing something right. Still got to be doing something right. Isaac Moore says, I'm not paying anyone. I hear you. Random says, throw out Joe, Mike, and the whole playbook. Yeah, Kafka's gone. It's all about Joe Schoen right now, man. It's all about Joe Schoen right now and making sure that you, complete the cleaning of the house. For sure. Draft the right tackle. Sim Singh says, unless you get them and you draft the running back, shaking my head. Now that's crazy. Simeon says Francis, I can't even pronounce his last name, but you're talking about the tackle from Miami. I don't know if you draft the tackle that early though. For me in the first round is wide receiver, it's linebacker, it's cornerback, and it's Caleb Downs. That's it. And not in that particular order. I'm taking wide receiver first, then Caleb Downs, then cornerback, I'm lying. Then linebacker, then cornerback for me. LRP says, man, I would be so on the Brian Flores train. I didn't even think it was a possibility, so I didn't even have him considered. But man, Dash, bro, the Giants need him. That's it. Can't tell me any different. That's it. Can't tell me any. Listen, man, I've been called crazy, LRP, and I understand why. He's currently suing the Giants, suing the NFL, so people are saying there's no chance. But as we all know, especially as adults, man, money can change a lot of things. If Brian Flores needs a check to get into that settlement, then go ahead and do that. If he needs the job, the Giants can do that too. It's just about what the Giants are willing to deal with. And I'm willing. It's my fault. It's Cooper's. It's a sandwich, or it's a deli spot in Jersey, in North Jersey, in Newark. So if you look up Cooper's Pastrami on Google, it'll pop up for you. That's what it is. That's what it is. Cooper's. Like hanging with Mr. Cooper, not like Cooper Trooper. That's my fault. That might be the Jersey accent. Yeah. Oh man, Luann says Gruden would be a better coach. I don't like Gruden, man. I think time has passed Gruden. Random says, can we fire Mara? I'm glad you're laughing after that, because right now we know what Mara's dealing with. But this family's not giving up this team, man. That's not going to happen. So what do? We just deal with what we can deal with at the end of the day. JJ the King says we wouldn't be in a situation with Flores if Mara didn't hire Shane. That is true. A lot of people that have been following the stories, they knew back in 2022, Brian Flores was John Mara's guy. There was even, reports that John Mara told Brian Flores to go win the job when he was going to interview with Joe Schoen. But of course, we know with history that Joe Schoen talked John Mara out of Brian Flores and, gave him Brian Daboll. And the rest is history. Mike Fanta says, you're the GOAT, Big Dash. Now, I appreciate the love and support, man. I'm not the GOAT, but I do love talking Giants football, man. I appreciate the love and support. You already know what it is. Seth Dawkins says, draft Reese to be a full-time linebacker and trade Tibbs for picks. The question is this: does Reese want to be a off-ball linebacker, or has this season where he's actually been splitting his time from off-ball to edge, does he know that the bag comes with being an edge rusher in the NFL? It's about what he wants. Actually, it's not about what he wants to do, but kind of what he wants to do. It's about that. And I also like Sonny Styles as an off-ball linebacker even more than Arvell Reese. But we'll see what happens, man. Again, today has made it interesting again for the draft. Because, before the game, it was all about, the Giants are trading back. Now we don't know what's going to happen with this pick. A little bit more excitement. Some people don't want it, but it is what it is. Shout out to my man, Mark Thompson. He says, I think we are underestimating the need for a top-tier inside linebacker. McFadden's injury emphasizes that second level has to stop the run and move fast laterally. 100%. 100%. 2026 Super Bowl. As long as we get this Super Bowl dub before 2029 to keep the streak alive. Right now, the New York Giants are on a 4-decade streak of winning the Super Bowl since the 80s. We got one in the 80s. We got one in the 90s. We got one in the early 2000s. We got one in the 2010s. We need one in the 2020s in order to keep this streak alive. Let's do that. Mike Fanta double down, says 2026 Super Bowl. I'm calling it. Random says F around and beat the Cowgirls. Yeah, we talked about that. It's a possibility. That offense is something else though. This defense might turn back into a pumpkin, and the Cowboys might go out there and lay 30 on us. We don't know. Lorenzo says we need a wide receiver 2 and 3 and 4 possibly. Not just a wide receiver 2, 2, 3, and 4. If we lose Wan'Dale, that means all we got is Neighbors coming back from injury and Darius Slayton. So yeah, we need the wide receiver 2, 3, and 4, most likely. Any good corners in the draft? Yeah, there are some good corners in the draft. A few of them. When it comes to some of the top guys, you got McCoy from Tennessee, you got Hood from Tennessee, you got what's his name from South Carolina. Is it Cisse, something like that? Cisse. He's another one. You got Abney from Arizona State. Malik Muhammad is a guy I like from Texas. The kid from San Diego State. Chris Johnson, he's another one. It's a couple good. AJ from Penn State is another one. It's a couple of them out there. Not sold on Slayton or Theo. Nobody sold on Slayton or Theo. Nobody. And if you know how I feel about Daniel Bellinger, then he should have been a starting tight end over Theo, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Ant says he's been done with Slayton. Never was worth the money. Shaking my head. Ohio State corner, or is he a safety? Which one are you talking about? Well, you got the kid from my alma mater, from the Union Fighting Farmers in Jersey. Shout out to the Union. At Biddison, Egbignosin. He's at Ohio State, number 1. He can give you versatility. He's a little bit handsy though. He draws a lot of penalties. There you go. That's the name I forgot. Mansour Delaney. Or Mansour. Is it Delaney or Delane? He was at what was he at? He was at Virginia Tech, and then he transferred over to LSU this year. And he's probably the top corner in the league. Shout out to Scoob in the building. Scooby, what's going on, Scoob? With the $4.99 super chat says, hey, Dash, happy holidays. I'm not mad at the win, just happy for the kid. 2026 has so much excitement to look forward to. I get why fans are mad. Now, that's a fact. I understand why people are mad. I'm enjoying this win. Again, I had my roller coaster of emotions already. You know, I felt bad about losing, the number 1 overall pick, but I felt good that Jackson Dart was able to shut some people up. I felt good that, that Dexter Lawrence and his defense played well. I felt good about that. I felt good about Wan'Dale Robinson getting 1,000 yards. That's a big deal for him. I think he ended up being in in a category with not a lot of other slot receivers, or I should say receivers, 5'8" and shorter to hit 1,000 yards. So shout out to Wan'Dale Robinson. Big achievement for him. The kid from Duke is Rivers. That's Rivers from Duke. Again, for the people that don't know, I will be once the season is over, I'm going to get into draft mode. And if you're into all the college prospects, if you're into all the mock drafts, if you're into all the Senior Bowl and the Combine talk, make sure you guys lock in for that too, man. Can't wait to do that. Lorenzo says Jackson put the haters in the coffin. Now, that's a fact. That's a fact. Oh, man. All right, man. So what? We are almost ready for this next game. Obviously, Sunday Night Football. So we're going to wrap this thing up. And also, I have not eaten yet, man. And I'm hungry. Make sure I get all these super chats. I did. So hopefully everybody can come to the point where they accept this W, whether you're mad at it or happy with it. You can accept it. It's a new challenge for the New York Giants. Again, there's still a chance that the New York Giants do get the number 1 overall pick. If we lose next week and the Raiders win, we can still get it. There's a chance. But most likely, we're going to be looking at this 2nd overall pick. And if the New York Giants, in fact, keep that 2nd overall pick, us fans need to pray that Dante Moore comes out, he declares for the NFL, because that's probably that's the only way that you can probably, get some draft capital by trading back if that happens. But hold on, let me see what you said here. Shout out to Dane, the beautiful monster. He said, Dash, please confirm if Raiders pick first, but they need a quarterback that leaves one grade A guy to select and make our picks At 2, the hottest commodity, right? Yeah, you got to hope that Dante Moore comes out. You got to hope Mendoza and Dante Moore come out and we stay at 2, and you still got a chance. You still got a chance to trade back for a package. Is it Kiwa? Kiwa says, he says, F that, draft Caleb Downs. I like Caleb Downs a lot. I do. Ford Expedition, man. I'm trying to get out of here, Ford. I'm trying to get out of here. He's with the $5 super chat. Appreciate the love and support. He says, please, Mara, don't change your mind on firing Joe Schoen just because we beat the Raiders. Amen to that. Amen to that. And I think they already know. Hopefully today's game does not impact the decision. Decisions should have already been made already, whether or not Joe Schoen is going to be here or not. And we will find that out, soon enough. We're a week away from Black Monday, and we should know that day whether or not Joe Schoen will continue to be the GM for the New York Giants. But I'm going to go ahead and close this thing out, man. Appreciate the love and support. That's how you say it. Yeah, that's how you say it. Okay, I got you. At least I was able to pronounce your name right. All right. Raiders beat Chiefs. Cowboys beat Giants. Giants get the first pick. There you go. Thank you, C. Mully. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, I'm sorry. Before I do that, before I get into the outro, this is the last live of the year. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic 2025. The next time you see me live, it'll be 2026, and I hope that everybody has a happy and safe new year. 100%. So if you're the type to make your black eyed peas on New Year's Eve, make sure you do that. All the other, myths and stuff that people have, do your thing. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows Big Blue Nation. Let's